final question in the Animal Farm section of the exam requires you to talk about a theme in one other part of the novel. And that's really important. If you choose a couple of different places in the novel to talk about, then the examiner is only going to mark the first place that you start to talk about. So you must make sure that you only choose one other extract. And that could be a chapter, but it's better to choose a couple of pages so that you can go into detail about the theme that you've looked at. You will need to use the novel to find your own extract where the theme is apparent. And you should write about the theme using point, evidence, explain, plus more of the 7 stages if appropriate. For example, it might say, in the extract, Boxer trusts the pigs. Explain how the writer presents trust in one other part of the novel. That means not talking about the extract that's already there for you, but picking your own place where you see that theme. And again, the requirement is for 3 point, evidence, explain paragraphs. Now, if you look through the rest of this video, the themes that I've chosen, I've been able to find particular places where you can see those themes in the novel. This is all on the handouts that you received in the lesson as well, but if you've lost them, then it's here for you as well. So you've got the theme of greed, and you can see what places in the book you might want to talk about for the theme of greed. There is the theme of power or leadership or corruption, and there's many places that you can go to for any of those themes. Sometimes the wording of the question will let you answer about power, or you could twist it to make it easier for you to answer, as long as you keep focusing on what that question is asking. Lies and deceit, for example, might also ask you perhaps about trust or mistrust or betrayal. So there's different places, different extracts that would be useful for different themes. Dreams is another theme that could be asked about. We've got violence and betrayal. There are other themes as well, so it's worthwhile thinking about, if you get one of these questions on theme, which extract would you go to? What would you say about it? This is an example question for you, so explain how the writer presents trust in one other part of the novel, and use evidence to support your answer. So when you found that extract, you need to, just like with all the other questions, be finding quotations to support your point. At the beginning of your answer, you need to say what part of the novel you've chosen. So in chapter 7, or it could be at the beginning of the novel when this happens. So describe what happens so the examiner knows what you're talking about. In this example, in questions in chapter 7, it's clear that the trust placed in the pigs by the other animals is being betrayed. The simile in the sentence, all that year the animals worked like slaves, suggests that the pigs are abusing the trust they have in them and using them for their own benefit. The animals work a 60-hour week, but are happy in their work because they have been assured it is for the benefit of themselves. You can see how quotes are being embedded all the time, and this is when you are aiming for the higher levels. That is one thing that the examiner is looking for you to keep your quotations sustained and discriminating, choosing the quotes that are really appropriate for what you're saying. The reader understands the irony in this, as the animals unthinking trust in the pigs means they are only furthering their corruption and power. Squealer's propaganda is used to ensure the animals trust the pig's decision, and he manipulates the truth for their own benefit. For example, he made a round of the farm and set their minds at rest when the animals were uneasy about engaging in trade. We start to see the animals' distrust, as a few still faintly doubtful. But Squealer is able to get them to question themselves, so they are no longer convinced about what is true or not. Boxer has unthinking trust in the pigs and passed it off as usual with Napoleon is always right. But we can see that other animals such as Clover are now beginning to question what the pigs say. Clover had not remembered that the 4th commandment mentions sheets. However, none of the animals have enough independent thought to thoroughly question what the truth is and continue to be deceived. In this question, you'll be marked for how you pick out the examples from the extract and whether they support your point. Up to the highest level, we're thinking about a perceptive use of relevant examples from the extract, so really picking quotations that are useful for what you're trying to say. Reference to how the writer achieves effects. So how is the writer achieving something by talking about the theme in that particular extract? And understanding of how that is being got across to you. So how and why and what the effects are.